Hey guys, I'm slowly building this awesome playlist of AI and LLM projects, and you can expect a lot of videos in this series. Now, a couple of videos in this series would be in Golang and Rust, but 90% of all the videos would be in Python. So we're going to be using Python a lot in this when building up the series of projects. The reason we're using Python is because, of course, you get the latest AI models, you get access to the latest LLMs and all the libraries and support with Python. It's awesome. Now, most importantly, we're going to be using this tool called Google Colab. So if you remember this video, Llama 2, we used Google Colab, and a lot of the followers of my YouTube channel, they're good with Go and Rust, but they're not probably aware about Google Colab and how it works. And since we're going to be using Python for most of these videos in the future, and we'll be using Google Colab heavily, so I thought it just makes sense to create this video explaining to you what Google Colab is and how we'll be using it, so that it just makes it easier for us to use it in the future, because we'll be dependent on it in the future. Anyways, so now what we'll do is I'll show you a small project. We'll build a small project together, and then everything will become very clear. So if you just go ahead and search for Google Colab, and you see this logo with CO, that's the one you open up, Google Colab, and then I'm logged in, so I can just go ahead and open Google Colab in my browser, and I can create a new notebook here, but I'll just cancel this for now, and from here I'll just go ahead and create a new notebook, right? In the file, create a new notebook, and it opens it up in a new tab. Now, the best part about Google Colab, of course, is that it makes it very easy for you to run Python code, but it's actually enabling you to run Python code on the cloud. So you're not using any resources of your own PC. You're using Google Cloud's resources, and you don't have to take any special steps. Like, you don't have to log into your Google Cloud and administer resources or manage those resources. Everything is happening automatically. So as soon as you open up a Google Colab notebook, so this whole thing is called as a notebook, and as soon as you open it up, it's basically getting connected to a cloud server at the back end. So even though you're using Google's cloud resources in the background, you don't have to pay for them. It's completely free of cost, unless, of course, you're working with really large scale models, and then you'll have to buy a subscription from Colab. And I have a subscription. I think it costs like $15-20 a month, not more than that. And that will give you access to really big GPUs like A100s and all that. Otherwise, until T4, like the T4 GPU, everything is free, and you can do a lot of work with the T4 GPU as well. It's only when you, like I said, work with like really large models, then you'll need to have anything beyond T4. Otherwise, you're pretty good. You're good to go. All right. Now here, I showed you how you can create a new Colab notebook. If you want to open an existing notebook, you just say open notebook, and then you can open up your existing notebook. So for example, if I want to open up this one, which is making the most of your Colab subscription, I can go ahead and open this. And you see here, mostly you'll see a lot of text, and then you'll see some code. That's because it makes it very easy for you to write some text, which is your documentation, and it makes it very easy for you to write your code also in Google Colab. You can collapse and expand these sections. So you can add these sections and collapse and expand these. Now, the files you create will mostly exist in your drive. So you can save a copy in your drive, but you can also locate it in your drive, right? So once we save a copy in the drive, we can also then locate it in the drive. So if I go ahead and save it in the drive, it created a copy for me in my drive. And then if I go here and say locate in drive, I can go ahead and locate this in my Google Drive. So all my notebooks will be in my Google Drive, right? So it's basically Jupyter Notebook. If you've used Jupyter Notebook in the past, then you know that that's basically using your computer's resources. But here, in this case, it's using the cloud resources, so it's just much better. And the best part is you can just share this with anyone. So you can share the link with anyone, and for them to open this, so you share the link with them in WhatsApp, let's say, and for them to open it, they just click on this link, and they can just simply open up their a copy of your Google Colab, and then they can again make a copy for themselves. Okay. And here you can also open this up in playground mode. With playground mode, basically your changes do not get saved. This is mostly for testing, and you can go ahead, change things around in your playground mode, and then you can turn off playground mode as well if you want. So yeah, so that was one feature that I wanted to show you. And most importantly, you can from here itself, instead of saying save a copy to the drive, you can directly click on this button and copy to the drive directly as well. You can also save a copy as a GitHub gist or save a copy in GitHub. So you can connect your GitHub account and easily move the code that you create in your notebook to GitHub directly. And you can also look at the executed code history. So if you go to the view tab and click on executed code history, I don't have anything that has been executed, but if I wanted to check that out, I could also use that. The best part that I like here is the terminal. So I can click here and I can check out almost like how I would do it on Ubuntu, right? I can see here sample data, so ls and all the other commands like sudo apt get update, all of those will work as well. I think sudo will not work, but apt get update and so on, like your usual commands from Linux, they all work here in the terminal. So that's the feature that I at least like the most. So even if something is wrong in my code, I can come here and I can fix everything properly. So because many times you have to install a lot of libraries and they might or might not get installed, so you can come here always to the terminal, fix things up. That's what I really like. The other thing is you can go to runtime and you can change the runtime type. So I can now select my hardware accelerator. So I can use T4, I can use just a regular CPU, I can say I want high RAM or A100, V100 GPUs. These two are extremely powerful, right? And you only use them when you're working with really large scale models, but otherwise T4 GPU is fine, and CPU is also, for today, in today's video, CPU is fine enough. Now what might happen is you might end up running so the thing is, you have these cells, right? You see the cell here. I'll talk more about it, and you basically run the code here from these cells, and I'll show you some code samples and we'll actually run the code. But if you end up doing something wrong, right? So I'm covering all the very important things in the beginning before I show you how the code and execution of the code works, because that's pretty simple. What's important is this, because this is where you will need help, and this is where you'll be Googling a lot. Or checking it out on Stack Overflow. So what I want to tell you is that you can go ahead and disconnect and delete your runtime. So this is an important option, and I didn't know this option existed for a long period of time actually. The thing is, if you do something wrong here, you don't have to sit and correct stuff, right? Because now you're connected to a CPU. You can see on the right you have RAM and disk space. Right, and you mess things up, you install something wrong, or you're not able to fix it, you install the wrong version of something, you're not able to fix it, and you're not able to change it, then all you do is you just go here, you just disconnect and delete runtime. And then on the right, all you have to do is click on reconnect, and you will be reconnected, and you'll get access to a new CPU altogether. So everything that you had there, like all the files you had there in your terminal, if you go there, and if you had any files there in the root directory here, all of them will be gone, and then if you search, there will be nothing, just sample data. Sample data is something that you get directly from Google, and if you create something here like mkdir hello, the terminal is really slow. That's a bit of a problem, but that's the only issue that you have. So you have this folder called hello, and then if I didn't want that, I could delete it, or if I was having a lot of issues like that, I could just disconnect and delete runtime very quickly. And in the new one, when I reconnect and I'll find a new CPU, I'll take a while to create the new CPU. And if I create this here, if I say ls, and I won't find that hello folder, right? So you always have this option of starting a new server completely in the background. So everything is happening in the background. Like you saw, you don't have to do much. So just like VS Code, right? You have a lot of similarity to VS Code. I'll just make this a little, I'll zoom this a little bit in. And you have your own command palette here. So you have your own command palette, just like you have in VS Code. Like for example, for asking a question on Stack Overflow, adding code cell, all those little things, view resources, show code snippet pane. So all of those things can be done here very easily, just like VS Code, no changes here. Only the commands would be a little different, but it works in the exact same way. Then you have some settings. If you want some settings in your editor, like changing the font size, and this is my Colab Pro subscription, I can cancel it, connecting my GitHub, and all of those things, you can do that in the settings as well. Then you have your keyboard shortcuts. If you want to add any more preferential keyboard shortcuts, you can go ahead and do that. Now, diff notebooks is really important, because what might happen is you might end up collaborating with people. That's why it's called Google Colab. And your friends might end up making changes that you didn't want. So what you would want to do is you would want to compare the notebooks side by side. So that's why I use it. I'm not sure the original purpose of this, but this is at least why I use it. I check the different versions, almost like checking the history or comparing why one code is working, why the other is not working. Very good for learning purposes, very good for when you're collaborating with people. Okay. Now the other thing I want to cover here is you can very easily insert code and text. Now there's one way to do it from here. In the insert tab, you say insert code, and you can type some code here, and you can click on insert in text cell. You can add some text here. With the text cell, you get all of these formatting options. With code, you don't get that. So obviously this is different, right? So, and you have all these options also for editing. You have the option for close the editing. You can shift this up and down. So if you want something to be up and down, and you can move this between different sections. So this is what I really like. And you can also delete this cell if you want to. So you have two options, code and text cell. So you could use insert code cell and text cell, or you could say code and text also from here. Okay, delete that, all of that for now. And what I'll do is I'll create a new notebook, because I'll run some commands for you guys. But before that, I'll just show you that you can you have option of this also. You have table of contents. So if you have a document like this, you have multiple sections. You can move across those sections very easily by just clicking on the section title from the table of contents. So very, very easy, very, very simple navigation. And sometimes you want to search for stuff. You can search for stuff, and you can also replace it with this, and you can make sure you're matching the caps or basically the title case. All of those things are also here. And then you can manage your secrets here, right? Your API keys and everything, just to be secure. And if you have multiple files in your project, then you'd want to use this files folder as well. So if you're using multiple files in one project, you'd want to use that. You'd want to use that. But in this case, in today's video, we just have one file. We'll just have one file, and we'll do all the changes in that one file. All right, so now I'll show you some code examples so that you know exactly how Google Colab runs. So now the first example that I'll show you is how to import libraries. So what you'll do is you'll add a code cell. So each of these elements is called as a cell. So which I showed you, one is a code cell, text cell, and so on. And here you'll say import numpy as np, numpy or numpy, as however you want to pronounce it. And when I say as np, as you know, this basically means that I can access it as np now. I don't have to always type numpy. And I just have to simply run it like this. And on top, it had not connected to a CPU instance. It will now connect. So it says connected, and now it has showing me RAM and disk. And when you see a tick mark here, that means this has basically it was able to run. And I can always expand on it, and I can just add import pandas as pd, and I can say import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. And I can run it again after adding 2 more lines, and I get a tick saying everything is fine, everything works. And now I can actually I just remove this. I can add some text here. I can say now we will load a data set. Okay, and similarly I can just keep adding some text and some code, some documentation, just to tell me what the following code is all about. And to load some data set, this is how you would do it. You'll say from sklearn datasets import load iris. So let's load the data, and then we'll explore it. So I'll just add one more code cell, and I will print out that data. So this is what the data that I imported looks like. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll create something called as a data frame. So I'll go ahead and copy this here using iris, the data that we had iris. We'll just create a data frame now, and then we'll visualize the data. So I'll add one more code cell, and I will use plt, which we have imported here, matplotlib pyplot, and we'll use the data from iris, and then we will from the iris data frame, and then we'll visualize it using matplotlib. Okay. And if I wanted to add more libraries here, I could just go ahead and install them here with the help of pip. The important thing to remember here is you'll just put this exclamation mark here with pip, and then you can install any library that you want, and that's done. So I get here 5 seconds done, and then I also get the output out here. Then I can also check out GPU acceleration. So I'll just go here and I'll just print out the GPU available. There's nothing because obviously I have not connected to a GPU. And I can go ahead and change runtime type, and I can say T4 GPU. I'll save that. And it'll take a while to connect, which is perfectly fine. It's connected now, and you see here connected to T4. Go ahead and run this, and now you'll get an output for the GPU. So it'll say GPU is available, physical device, its device type is GPU, because we've just added a T4 GPU. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you now. So you know now how to write code, you know now how to import libraries and import external libraries as well using pip install. You know how to work with matplotlib. So in a very short video, we have covered a lot of things. Now I've given you a complete walk around of Google Colab, and I've also shown you how to use Google Colab. And now it'll be very easy for us to work with LLM projects. So make sure you keep your eyes open for the and you follow this channel. Of course, you subscribe to this channel because you'll be getting a lot of videos around LLM and AI projects. Now, before I wrap this up, I just want to tell you about the code snippets tab, where you can get your code snippets from, and this command palette tab, which is the same as when you go to tools, you go to command palette, the same button you have available to you on the left as well. The other thing I want to tell you about is that I have this 53 killer Golang project series on my channel. You might want to check it out if you're new to this channel and you're watching this video for the first time. And I also have a 50 Rust projects where we actually build Rust projects in an increasing level of difficulty. So that's how they've been curated. And I keep adding more videos to this playlist as well. If you're interested in Golang and AI, because it's 2024, and if you're looking for a job, looking to upgrade, you might want to check out this course that I have on Gumroad, which is my 6 AI plus Golang advanced projects. We build 6 killer projects like a Discord bot, Whisper API bot, and a Telegram bot, Kubernetes and Terraform assistants, and a complete terminal AI assistant. You might want to check out this course if you haven't done that yet. The link for this course will be in the description of this video. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.